Morning, folks, from sunny Alberta. You know, I often try to make like a video every 2 weeks or every month, but that'll probably be soon dwindling down here. The Liberals just passed Bill C-11, the online censorship bill, where they will control or have more control of, the algorithms and the discoverability of Canadian content. So things will go up, things will go down, you won't see certain people anymore. And I mean, I've noticed it myself when I first got online. Some of my videos would be seen by thousands and thousands of people across multiple platforms. And now I'm lucky if 50 people see them. And I mean, I see comments disappear, I see likes disappear with my own eyes. And the online censorship is already out of control. And I fear for the world that we're leaving our children and grandchildren and great-grandchildren. Because right now, it's like a slow creep, right? We're like the frogs in the boiling water. Slowly and slowly and slowly, where most people don't pay attention. And what's it going to be like in, 10, 15, 20 years? That's what I'm fearful for. I mean, soon it will be the only information you can get is whatever the government subsidized media will tell you. And we know how that goes. They don't talk anything of great importance. And I mean, I'm not just blaming the internet. It could be my content. I don't make very flashy videos. I'm a pretty low-tech guy, but all I've ever tried to do is to just talk to Canadians. And when I have spoken about anything of significance, believe me, I've spent many a weekend and many a night going through government websites and stats with a calculator and a paper and pen and triple checking my math, so I can stand behind the things I say online. And it's really, truly terrifying to me of the direction we're going. I mean, the government lies to us about everything. I'm not telling you guys anything you don't know, from SNC-Lavalin and We Charity and all of the scandals, to Chinese election interference, to COVID and vaccines and the Emergency Act, and it's out of control. It's out of control. I mean, just to give a couple examples, you got the Prime Minister on television saying that the Freedom Convoy people were a small fringe minority and that they were extremists and their views don't matter. And then on the other hand, we needed the National War Measures Act to handle a protest in one city because the borders were already handled at that time, right? So which is it? Are they a small group of people who don't matter, or are they so dangerous that we need the National War Measures Act across the entire country? Like, which is it? Same with COVID. How many people took 2, 3, 4, 5 shots and still believe that people who didn't take it were a danger to them? They were literally on TV telling you, people, that they didn't work as advertised. They literally told you, and people still believe them. That's like, me having a headache, but screaming at you, a perfect stranger, for not taking a Tylenol. And I'm not comparing a headache to COVID, but that's the reasoning. That's how stupid it was. Like, how ridiculous is that? You take a medication, and they literally tell you to still be fearful of the disease that you took it for. And people lined up. And not only that, imagine Tylenol reference again. Imagine the government bought millions and millions of bottles of Tylenol, got you to take it, and then told you on TV Tylenol didn't work for what you took it for. But you still need to be afraid of everyone who didn't take a Tylenol. I know it's not that simple, but that's the reasoning, and it's fucking ridiculous. And I mean, What's going to happen in the future here when they pump people more fearful of climate change? What happens when they say you can only travel 30 kilometers because you emit too much? Or you can only heat your house to 17 degrees because you emitted too much this month? What happens when they say you can't go to Florida for vacation, you have to go to Thunder Bay because you only have 50 carbon credits left? Or you can't buy that gasoline car anymore, you have to buy this electric one. But electricity prices are so out of control now that you can't afford that either. Or what happens when they say you can't buy that many groceries, you can only buy $100 worth of groceries because they were imported? Well, what happens then? And I mean, I'm embarrassed by what's happened. Our families, generations of our families went across oceans to fight for perfect strangers, for their lives and freedoms, multiple times. Young men I never met died on beaches and in forests in horrible conditions so that I could stand here today. Canadians are world renowned for our kindness and sense of humor and our generosity and our warrior-like mind frame. Canadians are warriors when called upon. In the trenches, our enemies feared us because our fathers and uncles and brothers and grandfathers and great-grandfathers were hard men who did what they had to do. And they fought for the people behind them like any good soldier does. So, the internet is the only opposition to the Canadian government. It's the only way we know how to protest. It's the only way to spread positive messages or to give people hope. And I fear for the world that we leave behind. Because if we do nothing now, and I don't mean violence, but if we don't stand up and get outside and do the things we have to do, then that slow creep and that water that we're in is going to be boiled, and it'll be too late. So even if no one sees this, I just want folks to know I tried. I protested. I volunteered for political campaigns. I've knocked on doors. I've written emails. I've made videos. I've done everything I can peacefully in the right way to try to speak to Canadians. And at least there's a record on the internet that I tried. So I wish you all the best to your families. And I hope things don't continue to go in the direction that they're going. Because everything looks sunny and nice now, but it might not in 5 years. When they can take your rights without justification, when they can force drugs into you or your children under the multiple threats of losing your job or segregation or public hatred or losing your home or the ability to feed your children. This is not some conspiracy theory. They just did it, and it was all based on lies. They've already done it. What's coming? I pray that Canada remains strong and free. Take care. Have a good day.